had to step into my power so that I can empower more women who were struggling just like I was.
So earlier in my career, I wish somebody would have told me that not everybody wants to see me win. Not everybody was going to be by my side. I had to learn to be my biggest cheerleader, to be the person to go out there and step out of my comfort zone and do new things, try new things, because not everybody is going to be supportive.
Guess what? You're not in it alone, because there's tons of women out there that are struggling just like you, who want to be there to support you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of You Were Meant for More. My name is Francine Ayala and I am your host here on this beautiful fall day. So I have the pleasure of bringing in a good friend of mine, and she is a girl coach and mentor. I'm definitely going to introduce her. You can see her beautiful picture already up, but I'm excited to bring her in. She has so much energy. She's filled with so much light and positivity that I just want my whole community, our whole community, to know who she is and what she's doing. I knew actually from the moment, I'm bringing something up because I want to make sure that I get everything, all the goodies for you. There we go. I knew from the minute that her and I connected that she had this power within her, this like authenticity, this love, this drive to support so many young girls out there to get them to their next level. I know we're here all about creating this whole women empowerment movement, but she is stepping into her power and purpose by doing girls empowerment workshops. So I love that. I'm so excited for you to meet her, but I'm going to introduce her really quick before I bring her on stage. So Luz Hernandez is helping moms find a proactive way to empower their daughters in a fun and creative space. She leads girls' empowerment workshops by creating an environment that inspires mindset growth, encourages taking risks in a compassionate way, and provides the freedom to communicate openly. Her vision is to empower girls with the tools they need to thrive in life. She wants each girl to go after what they want without excuses, fears, or judgment from any challenges they may face. Instead, they will experience resilience and persistence to reach their highest self every day by choosing who they are first. These mindset shifts will heal them inside and out. Nourishing the mind and body is an integral part of the early development into their adult years. Their highest self. I mean, come on. Can we just give a round of applause? I mean, let me go ahead and bring her in. Without further ado, let's welcome Luz Hernandez. Yay! Oh my God, I absolutely love your energy. I'm just like so excited you're here with me. Finally, right?
Yeah, this day came finally. And it is a pleasure to be with you as well. Like, you also bring that energy. I love it. I love it. It's contagious.
Yes. And if you all don't know Luz already, and to our audience out there, definitely get to know her, and I'll share more about her at the end of our episode. But she has been such an energy in our networking events, at our events. And what I love about her is I love to dance, and guess what? She loves to dance. So we were going to play music for you all, but we didn't want any copyright issues going on. But yes, I love her energy. And if you're not following her, you definitely got to follow her, because she brings so much light and love and positivity to her space. So yes. So thank you. Let's go ahead and jump in. Oh my goodness, Luz. I mean, you and I connected a while back, and how did we meet again? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I do remember. It was during the pandemic. And I was just like scrolling through the internet, and I came across this event online. It was virtual. I jumped in, and you were giving like so many tools and wisdom for entrepreneurs. And I was just attracted to your energy and to all the information that you were providing. At that time, everything was shut down. So definitely there were no interactions. But what you created was a community of women to come together, share their experiences, share their story, and also get empowered with what you were teaching us. So definitely that was my safe space, and to go to your virtual events. That's how we met. And then we continue our friendship, when everything opened up, you have those amazing in-person events, which I love because I get to connect to so many women. And I was like, okay, I love Francine. Let me just her now.
Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. I promise I didn't pay her to say that. Thank you. No, honestly, I already knew from the beginning that when you and I met, I was so passionate about your mission and your vision, because I knew, like, when I started Wheela, I actually wanted to focus, because I remember telling our community and our volunteers that I wanted to support women and children. That was like the forefront. Women and children, because I knew that children needed to be supported in such a way that, that we didn't understand. I mean, we're just evolving even as parents today and learning all the tools and resources on how to become a more loving and compassionate and communicative parent nowadays. Because I remember I opened up with our marketing saying, were you that perfect parent? Nobody was. We were just learning and understanding how to maneuver based off what we knew, what our parents taught us. And so that's why I was so passionate about what you were doing. And I knew that we were going to collectively work together in the future, because I wanted to, for those young girls to be supported, for them to have that foundation from the very beginning. Right.
Yes, yeah, it is important to start at a young age. As adult women, it's a lot of relearning, right? Just kind of erasing what happened and then relearn a new way, which it's not bad. We always go through challenges,
Right.
but why not equip our girls with these mindset tools and then through mindfulness early in life? So when those challenges come, they're able to bounce back stronger instead of dealing with all that inner healing. Like, they're able to just to pivot on in any situation, anything that they face. So definitely I did see a need in my community early in life. And then being a mom of two girls, which are already teens, I was able to see that the pandemic left a lot of like trauma, a lot of feelings that were not addressed at the moment. So definitely this is when I started doing this work, and I said I'm going to be a stand for those girls to really see themselves for who they are, love themselves, and accept themselves from the inside out, instead of looking for validation out there. Like, really go inward. Who are you being as a girl, and how do you want to show up?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that. It's like, instead of looking out there and look inward, that is so powerful, because as you know, and as my audience, or the new audience, and the audience that we have now is starting to learn, I'm very transparent and very honest. And guess what? I still work with a coach, and I'm still learning about things that I need to work inward on versus looking outward. And so it's always, even being a coach myself, I understand we all have layers, like we're onions, right? The peeling of the layers. And it's like, we still get to show up as the best version of ourselves every day by understanding what is holding us back. And so I'm always about learning and growing and really evolving in that growth mindset. And so for you to do it for, these young girls at such a young age, it's literally going to propel them to great things in their future, and yes, she's a girl mom. I love that.
I love it. And
yes. So let's go ahead and take it back a little bit, Luz. Let's get to know more about you, how you got started. Where was the pivotal moment that, I mean, I know you shared a little bit about the pandemic and so forth, but if you want to go a little bit earlier back in your life and what you saw growing up that really kind of inspired you to take this step into this purpose that God had led you to. Share a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Thank you for that was a great question. So definitely taking it back to my young years, I was a little girl that experienced a lot of anxiety, self-doubt, and I had low self-esteem. I always felt like I wasn't normal and that there was something wrong with me. My parents tried their best with the resources they had, but they were very strict on me. I was the oldest and the only girl in the family. So definitely the expectations were high, you know, the perfect little girl. I had my perfect little bows, my dress and stuff. I couldn't get dirty and couldn't play rough. So I always had to like put this kind of face, you know, that I had it all together, even though inside of me there was a lot of fears, a lot of nervousness. So I wasn't very peaceful. And then I came across this amazing program, Girl Life, and I said, that's amazing. I could do these workshops for the girls. And I thought about my little Luz, you know, the little Luz that is scared, that feels anxious. And if she had those tools at an early age, oh my God, like she will be doing all these amazing things. But then I'm grateful that I went through that because I'm able to share with the girls now my experience. But once I saw those tools and I started implementing them in my life, I said, let me teach this to my daughters and their friends. So it was during the pandemic that I started my business. And I got a group of girls online, and I started doing the workshops online, very fun and interactive. If I love to dance, we had dancing on the virtual workshops. So definitely. But once I continued doing this work, I noticed that the girls were opening up more. They were gaining confidence. They were being resilient. They understood a little bit about their thoughts, how to manage their thoughts and their feelings, and that it was okay to have those strong feelings. But how were they going to react, or how was it that they were going to manage them, was the most important thing. So that is a little bit of the back end of my story and how I came to be a girl coach, because I really see the importance and the value of us having these tools early in life. And I also thought about my little Luz when she was young, which is she's healing at the moment still. It's like a process, a journey.
For sure. Oh my goodness. It's so crazy because little Francine came up not too long ago in my coaching session. So believe me, I get it. I understand. And it's like being in the coaching space and, understanding, because nobody, even as a coach, we don't want to say we're still getting worked on. Not that we don't want to say that, but there's still this like, we're still peeling those layers. And, none of us want to really say that, hey, we still have work to do when we're coaching others, but guess what? As we're going through our own coaching, we get to show up in such a better space, a more empowered state, to then empower them to take it to their next level, whatever that may look like. And so, just different things come up for us, and just us realizing it and be like, oh, okay, we kind of step back and just like, understand and process it. And then we're like, okay, how do we want to move forward? And how do we get to move forward, So
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that part, Francine, because we are also in work in progress.
right.
We do have work with different coaches because I saw myself being stopped, right? That inner critic or the perfectionism. And I said, "Ooh, where is this coming from?" So I've had different coaches help me and support me through my journey, which has been very beneficial because I'm able to see things that I didn't see before. Plus, I'm able to show up more authentic with the girls, right? Letting them know that I also have that support to help me so I can show up as my best version in the workshops or in the programs that I lead.
Absolutely. And it's good, that you're doing the same process, understanding that same way of being, so that they know like, hey, we're not perfect people. Even though we coach, we mentor, we speak, we share our value, what we know. We're not at our perfect self, or there's no perfect person. We're always learning, we're always evolving. And that's what's so important for these young girls, these young minds, to understand that we are always evolving. We are always, elevating to our next level, whatever that may look like for us. And it's a great opportunity to do so and to really understand, because I know there's a lot of women, even women out there, that are dealing with low self-esteem, low self-confidence. And guess what? Not too long ago, my coach was like, I could see a little bit of the low self-esteem. Crazy, right? Anybody know me? Which is weird. I carry that a little bit in my life. And I was just like, really? And it didn't dawn on me because like my confidence is pretty high because I know I understand how to do things and where I show up and how to maneuver forward. But the self-esteem was attached to the little Francine, where there was like that worth attached to it. So self-esteem has, your worth attached. So it's like, where was I losing that self-worth, component in that low self-esteem? And so that was a process I had to go through, and I'm happy to share that too with everybody out there because it's not a perfect image. Believe me, when you follow us online, we are not perfect people, but we put in the work. Right?
Yeah, we do. I think we have to release that myth that we have it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, yesterday, my newsletter was about that because that is such a high expectation, especially as moms, to think that we have it all together, where in the inside we might be broken or very stressed out or feeling overwhelmed just because we're not reaching out for help. So let's release those high expectations as moms because it's important that our girls really see us in a peaceful and most calming state that we can. Our energy transmits to our girls. So the way you're feeling, even though you're trying to keep it all together, like, oh yeah, I got this, she's still feeling your feelings.
Absolutely.
Okay? So we always have to bring awareness to how am I feeling at this moment? Like, am I rushing? Am I nervous? And then through mindfulness, or if your daughter joins my workshops, definitely I teach her different techniques to calm her nervous system.
And that's so important because a lot of people don't really understand the nervous system portion, right? How different types of events, situations had an impact on our nervous system and what that looks like. And so let's jump into your workshops because I love those workshops. I see photos, I see videos, and they're inspiring. And I'm just like, man, if I had a young girl, like I would completely go with her to these events. They just look so fun and so entertaining. And I know the girls, it looks like they're having just a great time, and I'm sure they are.
They are. So yeah, my workshops are very interactive. They're very hands-on. I create a safe space for the girls to be themselves. Of course, some girls might come in a little timid, a little like wondering what's this, nervous. We validate the feelings at the beginning with a check-in. But it's like a 2-hour transformation because the moment they step in and they just start opening up little by little, we also have an empowering craft. And this one taps into their creativity, their imagination. They start creating these crafts with different tools. So it's very hands-on, which serves as a purpose because they get to take it home and continue working on what they learn in the workshop. So it's an ongoing process. It's not just one time and you're done. No, the workshops are designed for them to continue working on the tools at home. Then they get to create a nutrition portion. I love this because they get to taste new foods, vegetables and fruits, and they get to participate, like chopping the lettuce, or we do avocado toast, mash the avocado, and then they get to taste it and continue at home, right? They can prepare it at home, whatever they learn in the workshop. So at the end of the workshop, the girls don't want to leave. They just want to be there, continue talking, continue interacting and learning. So that transformation really opens them up to self-expression. They start asking questions. They start talking about their life. They start talking about those feelings that might be uncomfortable or those feelings that we need to celebrate. So I love the workshops. I love the workshops because it's just seeing the process of the girls just being themselves, and not putting those layers on, but instead just shedding them and learning who they really are, not what society has told them or not what the school or social media has imposed on them, but definitely being themselves. It's like the freedom they have in there.
That's great. I mean, it's funny. You made me laugh at one point because you're like, they don't want to leave. I'm like, kind of sounds like Wheela events.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time we put a networking event together, a summit or a conference, it's like, I can't get these ladies to leave. I have to create like an after party.
They're kicking us out of the
Yeah,
venue. We're talking
yes.
there.
She knows. They kick us out of the venue. They're like, it's 9:00. We're
True.
closing up. So I love that. But thank you for sharing. So I'm going to go ahead and share a couple of photos actually that you shared, so that you can kind of tell us a little bit about what's taking place in these workshops. Like, I know you shared a little bit here. Let me go ahead and share here. There we go. So let me go ahead and go to the beginning one. There we go.
Okay.
So kind of break down what these what's happening, what type of movements or activities you have going on here.
Yeah, so this was after a meditation where we just meditated. It was a quick 5-minute meditation. We don't do a long meditation because the girls are very active and not everyone can really like quiet their mind, which is impossible to quiet your mind. So I tell them during the meditation, pretend that your thoughts are like little clouds just passing by. Do not entertain them. Just let them be. Let them blow away. So yeah, in this, we were just getting up after the meditation. And of course, we're all smiling and feeling good. So some girls experience feeling tired, feeling sleepy. Other girls experience feeling peaceful and calm. So everyone has their own experience. And we actually open that to really express it. How did you feel after the meditation? Was that helpful? I do have a young girl who doesn't like the meditation and she's always has her eyes open, and it's okay. It's okay where she's at. I always tell the girls, you are where you're meant to be, so don't force it. If you don't want to meditate, that's fine.
That's great. I love that.
This one is super special. That is my youngest girl, Ixtali. And we were talking about communication, different ways of communicating. So she was sharing a little bit of the struggles that we have had as mother and daughter.
Okay.
And then I was able to listen, because many of the times our daughters just need to be listened. They don't need the feedback. They don't need the solution to their problem. They just want to talk about it.
It's so true that you said that, because I went through that recently, and it's like sometimes people just want to vent, or sometimes people just want to share. And it's funny that you say that, because as moms or even as a coach, we tend to revert right away into solution mode. Like, I got the solution. And it's like when, somebody told me about it, I was like, oh, I think it was my son. I'm trying to remember. And I was just like, that's right. You're right. I don't even realize that I do that, but I do. You know what I mean? So to be able to bring that awareness, helps us know how to show up for them in their space. Right. So
yeah, most definitely.
That's a beautiful picture. So that's why when you said it's so special, I'm like, oh, I love that. All right. How about
this one? This one was a mother and daughter workshop.
Okay.
So here we are actually cultivating the bond between a mother and a daughter.
Okay.
They were doing an activity where they were just kind of like together, but not completely touching. What that meant is that even though they're not together physically in the same space, maybe their daughter is at school or away on an activity, there's still that mother and daughter connection that unites them. Maybe it might be energetically, or the love that they have for each other. So to really trust in each other, that they still have each other's back to trust and for support.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it was,
super
it was
sweet.
priceless.
I
Mhm.
love that.
So this one was as well. And after the when we now I'm already like,
You're
let
fine.
me get my thoughts together.
Your brain's not running a mile a minute like mine.
No, it's not. Sometimes it needs to pause. Trust me.
Yes.
So in this one, it was after the first activity, the first picture that we saw. In this second pose, we actually had one be the leader. So the mom took the opportunity to lead, and then the daughter took the opportunity to lead. So really giving the girls that space that they could also be the leaders, that they could also teach us as moms how to be moms, or how they want us to be their mom at the moment. So this one was very impactful and valuable for the girls to lead, because many of the times as moms, we might not ask the girls like, what do you think, or what do you think you should do this, or this should happen. We don't ask for advice. We think that as moms we should have the answers, where in reality our girls have their own inner wisdom, and they can share with us those tools, those inner tools that they have, and lead us as moms. So that's what I love about these mindful techniques that we do in the workshops.
Yeah, absolutely. I love them too. Oh.
Oh, yeah, I know. This one was a photo shoot for the moms as a gift. They were able to take a picture with their own daughters. And I think it's very special. My
Absolutely.
workshops are an experience. It's not just an event, it's an experience that they get to remember for a lifetime.
That's beautiful.
Mhm. Oh, this one is a couple of girls that have been part of my workshops. I do have my oldest daughter wearing the blue sweater, and then my niece is right next to her. And then my other two girls that have attended the workshops for about 2 years now. So it was just this one that like shows up how we are stronger together, and to really have each other's back and be each other's cheerleader. So like that unity, that sisterhood, that tribe that has your back.
Oh, I love that. These are so amazing, Luz. I mean, I mean, you had said two of the girls have been with you for 2 years, and I'm almost positive. But like, can you share a little bit about how maybe they showed up the first time versus how they are now? Like, just their whole demeanor has changed, I'm assuming.
Yeah, definitely. Some of them, when they came in, it was that imposter syndrome, really loud, very quiet, very shy, having panic attacks. And as they continue coming to the workshops and showing up and doing the inner work, and continue the inner work at home, because that's the most important part when you continue at home, then that one of the young girls was able to take leadership roles at school. She was able to join clubs. She was able to actually study abroad in the summer in Canada. So these
Wow.
are the tools that really help them thrive. What they didn't think was possible, it is possible. And they're able to create it. They able to create those opportunities for themselves. So they shift their perception,
Yeah.
we shift their, let's say, perspective. That's what I meant.
Perspective. Yeah.
Perspective.
Yes.
Because they're able to see the world instead of like, oh my God, like this always happens to me. Why is this happening to me? Instead, this is happening for
For
me,
me.
right? How am I gonna learn from this situation? So the world is completely shift.
I love that. I love that. So, want to share with our audience. We're going to give them, obviously, you're going to give them tangible tools and resources that they can work on with, because I know we have a lot of parents out there, moms, and we have, educators out there that work with kids. just being in that space with kids. I had somebody ask me if we can even host a show that focuses on how to support kids and how to like pretty much understand them and have that relationship, because my goodness, like I'm going to throw myself under the bus again, but I remember my son on a previous episode, he basically talked about how the different parenting styles was his dad and me. And he's like, yeah, you always got mad and you yelled a lot.
That's usually yes.
That's what I knew. That's all I knew. So I didn't know any better, but it was just so funny, to understand that. But it's, ever since, I've done so much personal development, I've even told my son, I'm sorry for what happened in the past. I said, I didn't know what I know now. And so to be able to really humble yourself and have that humility to say, I'm sorry, and I wasn't, that supportive parent to you when your emotions needed to be heard, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Because this doesn't apply to just girls, it applies to boys too. It's just our target audience is women and girls. She does girl life workshops, but our heart is for children, for women and men. I mean, for all the people, for humankind.
Yes.
So to be able to share this information. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into, I know we were going to talk about, or you were going to share a little bit about like how, the key strategies for building a strong parent-child relationship. If, you were to give them those key strategies, what can they start implementing today to, create that safe space for their child?
Yeah, so definitely have open communication with the kids. It's important to really make them feel like they can trust you and you're there to support them. So, open communication can vary from daily check ins. How are you feeling? How can I support you? How can I be a better mom today? And then your child will lead. I'm not saying that you're going to give them everything that they ask for, but you are open to taking feedback and advice from your child. And your child's going to feel confident, more confident when they start sharing how they feel. Then from there, you can also start getting curious about their own world. What type of music do they like? What type of clothing do they like wearing? What places do they like to visit? What kind of friends do they have? What are the topics, the trendy topics in their world? What are they watching on social media? And with this, I remember that one of the days I told the girls, let's play some board games. And they're like, Mom, board games again? No, that's boring. I'm like, okay, what do you guys want to do? And they're like, let's play some Roblox. And I was like, Roblox? Okay. How do we do that? And then they're like, well, you have to download the app so we all can play together and be in this world. So I downloaded the app and I was playing and I'm like, going to different worlds, and they're like, Mom, what are you doing? It was funny. But hey, it was 30 minutes that we will all laugh together, that we were all sharing that same little game together. So that's what I mean, getting curious and tapping into the world, because then they feel like, oh, my mom really cares what I'm into or what I am doing in my life. What I'm doing, it's important to her. So I think these two tools are very important, and also like teaching your child how to manage their thoughts and their feelings through mindfulness. So you could use your breath, you could practice a meditation, you can do some journaling together. And I have different tools on my social media handles, but definitely the journaling is a cool part, because you could both have a journal, and then whenever your daughter wants to tell you something that maybe she doesn't want to express it through her words, she can just write it down and you guys exchange your journal and then learn a little bit more about yourselves. You can also have journal prompts and switch journals. That's something, a way of communicating. Instead of talking, there's different ways that your child can communicate as well.
Oh, it's so good. Open communication is so important.
Mhm.
Being a communications major, oh my goodness, it opened up a world of difference because like, there's tone in communicating, there's language, there's body movement, you know what I mean? And, so many people, and I just have to share this because if you don't know, do not never have an argument or a discussion with someone via text, that you are trying to get across. And then because there's no tone there. And so they don't know how you're communicating when you're sending a text. And so like, there's been like a misconception of like, what do you mean they were being offended? And then I'm like, no, I was laughing. I'm like, what do you mean? I was laughing. Like, you didn't hear my tone. So I never do that where it's like having that conversation back and forth because somebody may perceive it differently. And so communication is so important to really have somebody understand where you're coming from. And so, yeah, when you said open communication and definitely, putting yourself in their world. Yes. Kids want to feel validated. They want to know that you care. And so many times we're busy. I'm so sorry. I keep laughing because I keep popping up with memories of my own son and like what he's done, in the past, but I'll share because they're silly stories. If you all don't know my son already, definitely go back to the last episode or previous episodes. But there was one time I was so involved in school, I was doing homework and he was already, I don't know, 15, and so I was homework and I was just like nonstop homework. And I asked him, can you please make me a sandwich? And he brings me a sandwich with a picture of him when he was little playing soccer. He goes, here, this is your son. He needs attention. And so, people always tend to ask me like, how our relationship, we have such a great bond. And it's because one of the biggest things is I used to talk to my son about everything and anything. I always made it a safe space for him to tell me anything, now that, let me just forewarn the parents out there. Sometimes they tell you too much and you're just like, okay, I'm your parent. That's enough. But really having that open communication is truly important, and it allows them to feel validated and understood, and in that safe space to share with you.
Yeah, and yeah, the more I get to know you and your son, I do see that special bond. In the events, he's always there supporting you in anything you do. So it is a special bond that you have cultivated throughout the years.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah, you didn't do it perfect. There's no perfect way. We're always
No.
learning as parents. But I think you've done an amazing job as a mom,
Thank
the
you.
way he is, the way he gets out there, the way he supports you. Like he's your biggest cheerleader.
You would, I know a lot of people see that, but I'm like, you don't know I had to drag him to each event kicking and screaming. He'll be like, nah, I was gonna be there. I'm like, no, I dragged you to each event. But now he's like a symbol there where,
Yeah.
every time I have an event, he's there. He's now part of the events, and so I'm so grateful for that and so forth. And the fact that, you get to be this amazing mom for your daughters now, because you're still learning, we get to show up as better parents and better, coaches for ourselves as we're evolving. And so, I love the relationship you and your daughters have. I get to see it,
Yes,
it's
yes.
so beautiful. And one of them's away in college, right?
Yeah, she is. She is.
I
She's away
love
in
that.
college, very independent. So definitely, by me showing up to
Yes.
doing this work, it has been beneficial for my family and especially for my girls to
Mhm.
really be able to step into their own power, use their own voice, and really create the life that they really want. So yeah, it's part of life, you raise them and then they have their own wings. They're born with their wings. All they have to do is learn how to fly. And
Mhm.
how are they going to do that? By getting out of their comfort zone, looking for opportunities, taking up space, and really showing up for themselves for who they are.
Oh, so true. I love that because you said we're all born with wings, and it's like it's so true. Like when I talk to, our audience, it's like, God put excellence in you. He gave you the power, of courage. He didn't give you the power of fear. And it's just really stepping out of that comfort zone and uh stepping into your best self. That's what I love to express. So we talked about the importance of open communication because it builds that trust. So the role of the mindset growth and emotional intelligence in child development. Did you want to touch a little bit upon that to really have that mindset growth because of that emotional intelligence within child development?
Yeah, I could touch up on that. So, definitely, emotional intelligence is really validating your own feelings at the moment. Instead of shoving them in and not processing them, allowing them to come, even if it's the fear or the anxiety or those uncomfortable, strong feelings that we don't enjoy, like the anger too, like definitely let them come out. Because if we don't and we suppress them, they're going to have an impact in our body. That's why we have a lot of illnesses, a lot of diseases, and they are rooted in our feelings. How weren't able to speak up about our feelings or really open up and have that safe space to talk about them and learn how to manage them. So that is like the core of emotional intelligence, to really get to know how you feel. So the way that we process our feelings in the workshop, I tell the girls all feelings are valid. The most important thing is for you to pause. If you're feeling a strong feeling at the moment, let's take it as an example, anger. Like pause, like bring awareness to your body. How is your body feeling? Do you have a fast heartbeat? Are you starting to sweat? Are you just feeling this rush of energy that you want to punch someone or scream? Like just be in tune before you react and pause. And then after that, find a way that you can cope and manage that feeling in a proactive way. So I teach them how to use their breath to really calm their nervous system, how to just take a pause and draw. Easy tool as drawing, coloring will calm them down a little bit. Journal everything that you're feeling. Just take a minute or 5 minutes and just write it down, anything that comes up. And then after you have done that and allow the feeling to run through your body and come out however it needs to come out at the moment, in that safe space, then go back and talk to the person that maybe you were triggered by or you had a reaction towards, and really express yourself. What made you angry? How was it that you felt at the moment? And it takes time. It takes time. It's not like one day and another your child is gonna be able to like really express his feelings in a proactive way. But as a parent, once we create that safe space, also be patient, because it is a process and it is a journey. But what a better way than to have those tools early in life, and especially at home, starting at home, so our kids can able to maneuver or go through life in a more empowering way instead of just reacting out there and throwing it out to other people, when in reality, like imagine the value if we all knew ourselves a little bit more and acknowledged our feelings. Like it would be a better place instead of
Oh,
just
so
throwing
true.
the anger, throwing the jealousy, comparing ourselves, and really like just throwing it out there. It'll be an amazing world.
Yeah, because even us, as coaches, I mean, whenever there's an emotion that comes up or there's a feeling, I'm like, all right, where is
Yeah.
this coming from?
Hmm.
Why am I feeling this way? So, like, we've gotten used to asking ourselves this question. There was like, I shared the other day, I was so irritable. I have no idea. I think it was the super moon, honestly, but like I was just so irritable. It was just the weirdest thing. And it happens. I want to say maybe 3, 4 times a year. And when it happens, I realize when it happens, I know it. And I literally tell my son, I'm irritable. Don't talk to me. It's gonna come out all wrong. I'm gonna come out very pissy. I'm gonna come out very strong in a way where I was like, it's very blunt. Like if I'm talking to you, I'm not my normal happy-go-lucky self. I'm very blunt and to the point. And it's like, so I tend to stay away from people. But again, it's really understanding where is this coming from. But even knowing if it triggers like hormonal, then I get to understand where it's at and then step away, know that I need a day to just reconvene. You know what I mean? To understand that process. So I want to actually hop into, because I know we've built such a foundation with, or the topic of the parent and child bond. And I really want to touch base on like, okay, we gave resources for parents to support their children. And we want to be able to give like those people, like those educators out there that work with kids on a continuous base, the same type of, I mean, they can have the same foundation, the same resources that you provided, but how do they support working with kids and their parents? What would you say to them? Because I'm sure that you've seen it, you know, throughout, like, you know, in schools with your kids. But it's like it kind of starts at home, you know. So how would you kind of share with an educator who is looking to get supported by the parents at home? What type of conversation would you have with that parent?
Yes, so I have experience with that as I'm a teacher as well. Definitely, it's important for the student to feel seen and heard, you know, not try to put the student in a box where everyone tries to fit in, but
Hmm.
definitely see them as a unique individual with their unique talents and strengths. So, as an educator, it's important to really emphasize that because no kid is alike,
Hmm.
as well as we're not alike, you know? So, definitely, our kids have their unique, like, blueprint, okay? And once you get to know that and you build a relationship with the parents, because it's like a whole relationship, you know, child,
Yes.
educator, and parent that takes place. Definitely, you want to build up that relationship with your student and the parent because at the end of the day, your student is going to go home with the parent. So they're going to continue learning whatever they have been learning at home, you know? And also, as an educator, like I will implement the same tools, like having open communication, get curious about the world. Like if you have time to have free journaling, and then read those journals, of course, with the permission of the student, you'll get to know that your students a little bit more. Like, what are their struggles? What are their fears? What are they're facing at the moment? Because each home is different as well, and they're gonna have different struggles. So many of the times, once we get to understand their struggles and their challenges, some parents work more than 2 jobs just to
Yeah.
really survive, and the parents are not visible, they're not involved in the child's life. So many of the behavior issues are rooted there because they don't have the attention, they don't feel important or valued at the moment, so their feelings are not validated. So where are they going to take it out on? At school with other friends that maybe they do have that safe space at home, right?
Got
So
it.
definitely always validate the feelings in the classroom, and reach out for resources because I know teachers have a lot of students. They do have 32, 40 students in a classroom for one teacher or one educator. So definitely find different resources. I also lead school workshops. So if your school is interested in having these tools, mindset tools at the school level, definitely you can reach out to me and I could come up to your school. We should have more of these conversations, these
Yes.
conversations about our feelings and where things are coming from. Because many of those behavior issues, like I said, they're rooted on how we're feeling, that emotional intelligence.
Yes. And I think that's so important. And thank you for sharing that you're an educator as well. And so that's kind of where I wanted to share, because I've had somebody ask me, like, if we can talk about how to support children in the school, with the parents. And I think ultimately it starts with the educator. So the educator is in a space where they're dealing with multiple personalities from different students, and it could really take on they could really take on the emotions of the students and then get frustrated, or not get the support from a parent, and so then they get frustrated. So it's really understanding, like you said, emotional intelligence first, controlling your own emotions so that you can better make decisions for the kids, for their parents, as far as working collectively together. But you said it perfectly, because you're a whole relationship, you're a unit. It's the child, the educator, and the parent. So how can you all work together to support that child? And I'm so happy that you said that you give these workshops for schools, because so many student educators need these trainings, need these resources, because a lot of them are stuck in their own emotions. And so when students react a certain way, they react.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of where, there's a lot of frustration with educators, because they're like, these students come from home and this is what I'm getting. And it's like, but if we were educators to control our emotions and to understand that it's not about us, it's about the student, and how can we support them, then we get to show up as better educators.
Yeah, and you did touch upon an important topic. Like as educators, we need to really manage our feelings, our emotions, like because we do gravitate on everything. And having 32 students or so in your classroom, you really sucking in a lot of their energy. So you, as an educator, like be intentional, set up your energy at the beginning of the class. What are your intentions? And also pick your battles, because we're not going to save everyone. We're not going to save everyone. But if you touch one life, one of your students, then that's a big win. Okay? So as an educator, don't get overwhelmed. Pick your battles. And trust me, the days are long. They're 6 hours. They're long. You go through 6 periods, 6 different classes. So at the end of the day, you are a little tired. And at the end of the day, that's when your students are acting up the most. So, a little recommendation as an educator, what I do is I step back, I let them be as long as they're okay, they're safe. I put some relaxing music, and then I calm myself down because I said, I'm drained. It's the last class and they're acting up. So once they see me doing that, they relax. They relax. They're like, okay, what is she doing? Why is she calm? Like,
You're setting the tone.
yes,
You are setting the tone. I love that, Luz. That
yes,
was a great recommendation, because you get to control your surrounding. You get to control the environment.
yeah.
So I'm so glad you shared that. I feel like we need to do another show for educators. What do you
Awesome.
think?
Count me in. Count me in. Count me in. I'm here.
I'm like wheeling her in. I got her, people. All right. So thank you so much, Luz, for being on the show. Oh my goodness. You all, like, she isn't she phenomenal? Oh my goodness. I love her. So yes, you were meant for more with
Yes.
Luz Hernandez. Woo, woo. So I'm going to share a little bit about how you can get a hold of Luz. You can follow her, or you can check out her website at www.blissfulmindcoaching.com. So definitely take a look there. It's a beautiful website that you can get your resources, connect with her, know more about what she's doing and her workshops. It has all your workshops there too, correct?
Yes,
Her
correct.
upcoming workshops. Awesome. And then definitely give her a follow, because you got to follow this woman's energy. I love her. She is on Instagram at Yes Girl Life. So that's Y.E.S. and then girl with one L life. So girl life. I want to say it's girl life. So definitely stay connected with her. I just want to thank you again for being on this show, for sharing your value, and knowing that, you know, you're here on this mission to support so many children out there and young girls, to empower them to live the life that they were meant to live. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure being here and sharing space with you.
Awesome. Okay, until next time, we will join you on join us on another episode of You Are Meant for More every Wednesday at 5 p.m. PST. We will see you next time. Thank you for joining. Bye.
I want to get to know what you do, what inspires you, what you enjoy.
My ability to lead really impacts women on a larger level, because not every woman has the same story or the same journey. So understanding where they've come from and where they want to go helps me be the leader that I can, so that I can show up in a space of authenticity for them.